Today I shall discuss and demonstrate rapid sequence intubation. It took a few steps in a certain sequence in a very rapid progression. Actually speaking, rapid means in quick succession in almost a fraction of a second. So fast that it is almost simultaneous, especially if more than one healthcare worker is there during the procedure. These steps are pre-oxygenation, pre-oxygenating the lungs before intubation. Next is pre-medicating the child to diminish the side effects of the process of intubation. Third is paralyzing the vocal cords of the child. And fourth and the final step is introducing the endotracheal tube, that is intubating the child. When this process was described first, it was called as classical RSI. And besides the four main steps described before, it also included emptying the contents of the stomach via Ryle's tube before and applying the cricoid pressure to prevent regurgitation of the residual gastric contents. The classical RSI recommended placing the child supine with head down. In modified RSI, which is practiced now, the step of gastric emptying has been removed. The patient is to be placed in the so-called sniffing position, which we shall discuss later in the video, and application of cricoid pressure is also not to be done. The main aim of RSI is to prevent regurgitation and consequent aspiration of contents while minimizing the potential adverse effects. So basically it is indicated in patients who are at risk for regurgitation and aspiration of contents, like those undergoing emergency surgery, those with head injury, gastroparesis or bowel obstruction, gastroesophageal reflux disorder, and increased intra-abdominal pressure, for example, in patients with RSI, with ascites. So the contraindications to RSI are total upper airway obstruction and anticipated difficult airway. Majority of the textbooks, including the IAP textbook on PIC protocols, describe 7 P's to easily memorize the steps of rapid sequence intubation, which we need to remember. These are preparation, pre-oxygenation, pre-medication, paralysis, positioning, placement of endotracheal tube, that is intubation, and post-intubation management. Paralysis is also referred to as induction. Induction of paralysis. If we see the timeline, the time of inducing or initiating the paralysis is taken to be time 0. Note here that it is the time of paralysis and not the time of intubation, which is time 0. Steps to be done before are preparation 10 minutes before, pre-oxygenation 5 minutes before, and pre-medication 3 minutes before. Position the head 30 seconds after paralysis and intubate 45 seconds later, and 60 seconds later you start the post-intubation care. The mnemonic you need to remember for the preparatory checklist is SOAP-ME, that is suction, oxygenation or oxygen tubings and source, airway, pharmacy, that is IV catheter, syringes, etc., medicines which are required for the process of pre-medication, and equipments. Besides, you must also take a quick sample history, that is history of signs and symptoms, allergies, medications if the child is on any, past history of similar or any other event, the timing of the last meal, which is very important to consider whether or not there is a possibility of regurgitation and aspiration during the process of intubation, and the events which have led to the current position of the child. Besides, you must also quickly examine the child for airway, whether it is patent or not, breathing, whether it is regular or altered, and circulation, that is hemodynamics, raised ICP, etc., because this will help you in deciding the pre-medicines or the medicines which you have to give in pre-medication to the child. Pre-oxygenate with 100% oxygen for 2 to 3 minutes via bag and mask in apneic patients and via a non-breathing mask in spontaneously breathing patients, basically to saturate the alveoli with as much oxygen as possible prior to the process of intubation, because during intubation there is apnea And since the functional residual capacity in children is already very low, the alveoli tend to collapse earlier. Apneic oxygen is providing oxygen to the child during the process of intubation, which is a process of apnea, and this can be done via a nasal cannula or by the blow-by method. Pre-medication involves administering certain medicines to mitigate the adverse effects of direct laryngoscopy. For example, lidocaine for laryngospasm, atropine for bradycardia. Atropine also acts as an anti-sialagogue, that is, a decreased secretion, and blocking neuromuscular blocking agent for management of raised ICP and intra-abdominal pressure. So the mnemonic which we basically use for describing the common medicines used in this process are LOAD, where L stands for lidocaine, O stands for opioid, for example morphine or fentanyl, A stands for atropine, and D stands for defasciculating agent, that is a non-depolarizing muscle relaxant. The common drugs which are used for inducing the paralysis, that is neuromuscular paralysis, are vicuronium in a dose of 0.08 to 0.1 mg per kg IV, ketamine in a dose of 1 to 1.5 mg per kg per dose IV, and propofol 1.5 to 2.5 mg per kg per dose IV. One can confirm whether paralysis has been achieved or not by checking for the flaccidity of the jaw, but just prior to the process of actually intubating. Now, airway positioning has been placed at the fifth place, but actually I personally feel that especially in unconscious child, even for pre-oxygenation also with a bag and mask, you have to position the head of the child. So actually, as I already said, many of the steps are almost simultaneous, especially you have the facility of more than healthcare giver at one time. So positioning basically implies aligning the oral, pharyngeal and laryngeal axis for visualization of the glottic opening, referred to as the sniffing position. Now this position can be achieved by placing a shoulder roll, that is a roll beneath the shoulders of the child in children aged less than 2 years of age, because they have already a very large occiput, and by placing the head roll in children more than 2 years of age. Then the process of intubation, which I shall demonstrate. Hold the laryngoscope in the left hand. Introduce the plate into the mouth through the right, displacing the tongue to the left, and visualize the glottic opening, that is the opening between the two white cord-like structures, that is the vocal cords. Introduce the endotracheal tube through the right angle of the mouth. Do not introduce the tube through the eye or the canal-like depressed part of the blade, else visualization of the glottis will be obscured. This is another type of laryngoscope called as the video laryngoscope. It has a small screen attached to the handle in which you can see the glottic opening and can see the endotracheal tube directly entering into it without much effort. After intubation, you must confirm the placement of the endotracheal tube by looking for bilateral equal air entry and bilateral symmetrical chest rise, presence of vapors in endotracheal tube, sustained improvement in SpO2, detection in end-tidal CO2 meter, and then you have to do the post-intubation management, which includes connecting the patient to ventilator, chest X-ray and EPG. In case of deterioration, you must monitor for DOPE. DOPE stands for displaced endotracheal tube, obstructed endotracheal tube, pneumothorax, and equipment failure, that is failure of the ventilator. So to summarize, actually speaking, RSI is basically 4 steps, that is pre-oxygenation, pre-medication, paralysis induction, and intubation. But the classical 7 P's are preparation, for which the mnemonic is SOAP-ME, where S stands for suction, oxygenation, airway, pharmacy, medications, and equipment. Pre-oxygenation with 100% oxygen to saturate the alveoli prior to the process of intubation. Pre-medication to minimize the adverse effects of direct laryngoscopy, the mnemonic is LOAD. Paralysis to achieve complete relaxation of the jaw and vocal cords during the process of intubation. Position the head neck of the child to align the oral pharyngeal and laryngeal axis. Intubate the child, that is place the endotracheal tube, and do the post-intubation management along with monitoring. The mnemonics used are the most common. The classical four steps are OMP, that is oxygenation, pre-medication, paralysis induction, and intubation. Preparation is SOAP-Me, I had discussed earlier. Pre-medication is load, whereas stands for lidocaine, O for opioid, A for atropine, and D for defibrillating agent. And post-intubation management is by DOPE. That is, look for displaced tube, obstructed tube, pneumothorax, and equipment failure for causes of sudden rapid deterioration in a child on ventilator. So thank you so much for a patient listening, and do share the knowledge.